Today, the church celebrates Saint Rita of Cascia, a woman who proves that no suffering is wasted when surrendered to God. She is known as the Saint of the Impossible, not because her life was easy, but because her life was filled with situations that seemed literally humanly hopeless. And yet, grace triumphed. Rita was born in the 14th century in Italy to aging parents who had prayed many years for a child. And from her youth, she desired to become a nun, to belong entirely to Christ. But in obedience to her parents, she entered a marriage instead. And her husband was harsh, violent, and unfaithful. Many today would have become bitter, angry, and even consumed with resentment. But Rita chose another path: heroic patience, prayer, and sacrificial love. For nearly 20 years, she endured insults and cruelty, not as a weak woman, but as a spiritually powerful one. Through her holiness and perseverance, her husband eventually converted before his death. Think about that. Her hidden fidelity became the instrument of a soul's salvation. How many homes today are starving for one person willing to pray instead of curse, forgive instead of retaliate, and persevere instead of giving up? After her husband was murdered in a family feud, Rita faced yet another agony. Her two sons burned with hatred and desired revenge against his killers, and Rita feared not their death as much as she feared the loss of their souls. And in one of the most astonishing prayers in the lives of the saints, she begged God to take her sons before they committed mortal sin through vengeance. Soon afterward, they both died of a disease, reconciled to God, but the life taken quickly. This sounds shocking to the modern world, but Rita understood a profound truth: that eternal salvation is worth more than earthly life itself. And eventually, she sought entrance into the Augustinian convent at Cascia, but was refused because of the violence surrounding her family and the feud. Yet God himself intervened, and tradition tells us that one night St. John the Baptist, St. Augustine, and St. Nicholas of Myra appeared and led her miraculously into the cloister. The sisters, stunned to find her inside with locked doors, untouched, recognized the hand of God and accepted her into the convent. Near the end of her life came the event for which she's most often remembered. And while meditating on the Passion of Christ before a crucifix, Rita asked to share in his suffering. A wound appeared on her forehead as though pierced by the thorn from Christ's crown, and she bore this painful stigma for years. While the world runs from suffering, Rita embraced union with the crucified Christ. She knew that suffering united to Jesus becomes redemptive, and perhaps that is why people flock to her even still today. She speaks to the impossible marriages, the impossible children, the impossible illnesses, the impossible conversions, the impossible grief that the world knows. Rita found what is impossible for man is never impossible for God. And the modern world glorifies self-fulfillment, revenge, comfort, and emotional escape. But St. Rita teaches the opposite of that, that forgiveness, endurance, sacrifice, and trust in divine providence is the path to freedom. She teaches that holiness is not forged in perfect circumstances, but in surrender amidst suffering. So today, bring your impossible situation to Christ through St. Rita. No marriage is too broken, no sinner too far gone, no wound too deep. The thorn-crowned Savior still works miracles through those willing to trust him completely. Be battle ready.